Welcome to Land Academy. This is the Cash Flow from Land show. We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth
and sell it on the internet really fast.
I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWitt. We are Jack and Jill, and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWitt.
Howdy.
Welcome to our show. In this episode, Jill and I talk about property data. The data that we use that's too good to be true. Great show today, Jill. I hope this addresses a topic that I get a question about all the time. Before we get into it, let's take a question posed by one of our members on successplan.com, our free online community.
Cool. Okay, so Dan wrote, okay, so you've agreed on a price with the seller. Now, where do you go for additional research when just starting out to check title ownership, encumbrances, liens, zoning, water, electricity, other property perks, etc.? I know the data doorstep program provides access to some of that info, but I can't afford the monthly subscription quite yet. I love this. This is such a good question.
Salesperson Jill, I think you're so much more qualified to answer this question than me.
I got two points to make. One point to make, which is it will pay for itself quickly. How's that? When you can get access to the data and you can jump in and do this, it will pay for itself so quickly. It's not even funny, because the time that you will save, it's big. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff you can get from the county, for example, because although it depends on the county, some of the counties you can get in and check it really easily, check the ownership and all that good stuff, but some of the stuff you can't get to. Jack, what are you? It looks like you have a comment. I'm like waiting to go. Where are you trying to go with this?
You're just in life, you're going to either pay with money or pay with time.
Right.
Unless you're just independently wealthy. And even then, because we are, and we still, you just have to either pay with money or time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what as from a sales standpoint or from a, from a recommendation standpoint, I just think maybe you're not ready to do this yet. I don't know, Joe. Well,
I mean, you know what? Here's a good point.
Is there a free way to do this?
Do you know what I would do? Here's what I would say. Okay, here's Dan. Here's what I want you to do.
What he's asking is there a free way to have access to the answers, to do due diligence on a piece of property free? What do you think?
Depends on the county.
I don't think so.
You may not get all of that.
I've never called a county and had a county say, "Oh yeah, let me drop everything,
right?
And I'm going to research the property for you and make sure it's okay to buy."
Oh yeah, no. It's not going to be like that. Good point. I'm just saying, like, some of the counties you can pull up ownership and you can double check zoning, but that's about it. As far as liens, that's not going to show up on that county data. Water, electricity, all that good stuff, that's probably not going to show up. I mean, there's lots, and some of it too, Dan, you might be getting ahead of yourself a little bit too. Some of the stuff you need to get into this. I appreciate where you're coming from. So my point was going to be, get as far as you can. I guess, I talked to someone about this the other day because they were just getting data doorstep. I said, you're going to fall over when you see how great this is and all the access that we have, and you will be kicking yourself that you didn't do this sooner.
And that's what this show's about.
Exactly. So that's why I thought this question tied into it. So, Dan, please do yourself a favor. And Jack, you and I say this all the time. Don't believe us. Go into Success Plant and ask these questions.
Yeah, ask that question. I think they did ask it.
Yeah, Dan, go do all the research yourself. I get it. And then when you're ready and you can afford it, turn on data to doorstep. I would say do it sooner than later. And you're going to go, oh, now I see.
It really is one of those things that everybody says, man, I should have done this a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Now we're topping into our topic.
Yeah, exactly.
We just ran into the topic of the show.
Let's have the topic ready.
Okay.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816. Today's topic, property data we use that's too good to be true. I get this question, Jill. I'm sure you get it more than me. But I run across this question all the time, like, oh, come on. Is that really what happens for that amount of money? Yeah, so, I mean, data to doorstep is a feed to the county assessors, a county assessors database, 98 or 99% of them in the country, all 50 states. Mm-hmm. And you get a ton of data. So but here's what's great about it. And this is not a sales pitch. What you get for the amount of money is silly good. You get access to these databases, but then when you download the records, they're all in the same format. Every single county is in the exact same format. So if you've ever purchased tax lists or tax rolls directly from counties, it's 50, 80, $100 at a pop. Sometimes it's free, and you don't know which data you're going to get. And if the assessed value is not in there, then you're just wasting your time. Mm-hmm. So I've done this for years and years and years, all different ways. And it just doesn't, you have to have a PhD in data analysis to get direct county data and manipulate it. But with data to doorstep and the products that fall under that, you don't have to use, it takes all the mystery out of that at all. I mean, you know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. So now your job becomes deciding which county to work in and then becoming a deal maker. It takes all the silliness out of all the stuff that the back end terrible analysis that I think keeps a lot of people out of this business. It solves all that.
Well, you're right. That's the beauty of it. I think that's what people don't realize, how our members are up and running so quickly, is they don't have to do any of that. They skipped over that whole process. There's no figuring out what county's going to deliver it in a format I can do it, and how much is it going to cost, and do I need to hire a VA to help me go through it, because as the DIS and the C, what some people are hung up on for weeks, because I've talked to these people, have spent weeks. I mean, one guy, I remember the whole December, he said, I spent all December analyzing and trying to figure out this one county's data. Oh my goodness. And they're like, Jill, I got into the data that you guys have, and it was a Sunday afternoon done. I'm like, right? And he's like, and and that was it. And that's where I got that kicking. And he said, I am kicking myself for not doing this sooner. And part of it is, like the title of the show, he's like, I just didn't believe it could be that easy. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, it is that easy. And it can be that easy. You just got to have the right data and don't mess around, like you said, Jack. Yeah. Your time is money. I mean, do you really want to spend 4 weeks trying to figure this out? And then my whole thing is, I sound like my driving for dollars soapbox here, but
it's okay though.
Do I want to spend? I talk to everybody that does this. Okay, I just spent $50 a week for 4 weeks with a VA trying to analyze this. Gee, that would have been 1 month of data doorstep. Let me think about this, everybody.
Let's talk about this VA thing for a second. So let's say you find a virtual assistant who knows a little bit about data, and let's for sake of argument, we're going to say that's a really good virtual assistant, which never happens. But you find a magical virtual assistant. They know about data. They get the data back to you. All right, it's 10,000 lines of data for whatever county you've chosen. How do you know? That's where I get hung up. How do you know that it's just not gobbledygook data that you got back from a VA, because you said in this column I want the address, in this column I want the assessed value, in this column I want this? I mean, who's to say they did the first 25 columns and then they just kind of made it up because they were lazy?
Or who's to say they even really, really understood it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million things that can go wrong, and I've been saying this for years. There's tons of stuff you should outsource in a real estate business, tons, and it's all the mechanical things that are silly, like doing a deed. All the stuff that it's not material to making money. The reason that Jill and I do so well financially is because I scrub the heck out of this data. Mm-hmm. I don't struggle with how to do it. I look at the qualitative parts of the data, not the structure. So I look at 40 acres and assessed value of less than $12,000 all throughout Nevada. Bang, I'm going to send that. That makes sense to me. I'm going to send it. So that's the reason that we make money. It's not because I'm a great data, I have a PhD in data scrubbing. You don't need one with our program.
That's true.
If you buy it from the county, you're in for a huge education. And I'm just saying this from experience, because I used to do that. I actually I'm one of those crazy people who will stay up all night and figure that out. But why?
Well,
And now I'm paying for time with time instead of money.
Well, and here's another really important key point that you don't want to mess around with. You need to isolate your property type, like our property type, which has 0 improvements. There's a lot of places out there to get data, and I haven't found one like ours that way I can put in 0 improvements.
Some counties don't even have the improvement data. They don't track it. So what if you buy the data from the county and you find out it's not in there, or they just inadvertently excluded it? Sometimes I look at the data in Data to Doorstep and I compare it right next to the data directly from the county, and the county data is missing 20, 30, 40 columns because they don't think, or for whoever's at the county level, whoever's deciding to send you out a CD or a DVD or send the data however you get it, they don't think it's pertinent. Or their boss told them, oh, they don't need that kind of stuff. They want the owners. That's it. So all kinds of stuff goes on that Data to Doorstep, our product, really solves. You know, and so yeah, for $200 a month, geez, Jill. I mean,
well, it's cheaper.
Can you imagine one deal? That's, you know, when you really put it in perspective, it's for what you get, it's amazing.
Exactly.
You know, we haven't even talked about printing, but our printing is the cheapest in the industry. And it's the best. It's industry specific. It's not, doesn't involve color and all that silliness. So
I know that people are in Data to Doorstep, a lot of it just for the printing discount.
Yeah, me too.
Because when you sit and line up and you made that great thing on Success Plant, I think it's still there. I hope it's still there.
Yeah, it is.
That you can see, Jack did a great chart. We can show, all right, here's the different costs from a variety of printers, from yellow letters.
I don't want this to sound like a commercial. It's really not. I'm just trying to save everybody time and money. Honestly, that's really what this is.
That's it. It's like
we could charge $1,000 and have, you know, a lot less members.
It's true.
We could.
And
probably make more money.
Yeah, and my whole point for the show was it sounds too good to be true, but it really is real. I mean, I think everybody out there has been struggling with substandard data that they just can't wrap their heads around it.
I think a lot of good people get into this, both house flippers and apartment people and land people like us, and I think that they get really turned off immediately. Because there's a huge data component and all those numbers and all that stuff staring you in the face, and it's daunting. And our product takes all of that out of it. It's a step A to B to C to D to get the data that you want. So now you're a deal maker. You're not, you know, a data PhD person. And
you know, my big the proof is go on Success Plant and look at our people. I really, really, really strongly feel that the reason they go from, I mean, we've talked about this, maybe not in a while, but when we first started this whole thing, how quickly some people were up and running and making money like months. I thought it was going to be 6 months, and they're making it in half that. I'm like, wow, you know.
Some people are turning deals that, you know, this is not the norm, but we have a few people right now that are clearing 6 digits on a deal. They're making more than $100,000. That's not the norm at all, and you should never go into this expecting that. But it's very common to make $5,000 or $10,000 on a deal. You
know, it's funny. It's like what I used to say about selling property sometimes. You know, you never know what someone's going to want. You just cannot assume, you know, someone's going to want that. You just because you can't see putting a cabin there or whatever it is, doesn't mean that somebody else won't want that kind of property. Well, it's even like with our members. I'm like, I am constantly impressed and amazed by the deals that even we joke about this. There's some deals that we go, I wouldn't do that deal. You know, would you do that deal? And the next thing you know, they did the deal and they're killing it. I'm like, well, okay, you just proved us wrong. You know,
same thing happens with counties. I mean, some of our members, they send a bunch of mail out to a county that I personally would not have chosen, and they're doing great.
Yeah.
So
that's it. And that's the point of who we are and what we do. We're here to say...
That's why having a lot of members in this big group is good.
It is. And we want everyone to learn from us and then take it to the next level. And guess what? Then we're all going to learn more together, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And
has anybody ever said to you, like since we started this whole thing, boy, this data thing's a disappointment? Has honestly anybody ever said that?
Oh, that's a good one. Absolutely not.
Me either. No one's ever said, you know, you guys oversold this. This is really not what it should be.
Do you know the only thing I've ever heard is somebody needs to up my limits.
Yeah.
They start out with like 1,000 or 1,500 limit, and then we have to go in the back. Actually, they can do it themselves, but we go in the back end and up the limit. They get in and they go, "Oh, this is awesome! I'm doing this. I'm doing more."
The only reason there's a limiter on there at all is just to stop a mistake.
Right.
Of a new person making a mistake and downloading 17 million records
at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get in and they go, "Okay, anyway, I need to up my monthly limits." Okay, we can do that. That's the only thing anyone ever asks. So, and because, Jack, you did a really, really good job, and I appreciate that. That's one thing. It's so great for me is that you are very detailed and you are clearly very good at explaining this and showing people how to do it.
I don't know.
You do.
Thank you very much. I am very detailed, probably sometimes too much, but I think that I could do a better job and that's why we did the show, because I could do a better job at explaining this so that everyone can understand it. It takes, in a sentence or less, our product takes all the headaches, or virtually all the headaches, out of getting offers in front of owners.
It does.
From end to end, right from the choosing the county to having the owner stand on his doorstep looking at the offer saying, hell no or heck yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. No, I think you did it great. You did a great job. I know you did. I don't get any questions, and I appreciate that.
That's good to hear.
Thank you.
This is a technical 2 minutes of property investment advice from our 15-year, 15,000 plus transaction experience. If you're the doubting Thomas kind about data, order a data set from the county of your choice, and line it up right next to data to doorstep and the data that you get from us and from our affiliates. And in fact, I actually, my advice is to try to do that and try to do both, or talk to somebody who's tried to do it in Success Plan. And you will be shocked and amazed at the changes, or the differences in the data. I'm so confident about it. In our cash flow from land program, I include the data from a county. It's older data, just so you can see how bad it can get, and how there's some imperative columns that you need to succeed at this. One is assessed value, and like Jill said, an improved value, assessed value, and then lien amounts, i.e. mortgages. If you're going to flip houses at all, you need lien amounts. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're going to get regular data, and you're just going to waste a ton of money on postage. I hate to see that happen.
And time, when people call you back and they're not the right people.
If you're going to let me give you an example. Let's say you decide to mail every single 40-acre property in Arizona. You get it in your head that you want to do that. And so you get all the data, but you don't know assessed values. So now you're sending a letter, so now you're going to send a letter for $100 an acre, $4,000 for every single 40. And the one that's in downtown Phoenix, there's a vacant 40-acre property that's probably worth $1.2 million. They're going to get a letter for $4,000, and what do you think they're going to do?
That's funny.
The third generation heir to a piece of property that's way, in between Los Angeles and Phoenix, they're going to get a letter and say, heck yes, thanks. Like, geez, I was waiting for this. I really want to get rid of this thing. Mm-hmm. If you look at the county data, most of the time, there's no difference between those two 40-acre properties. If you look at our data, you can see clearly that one has an assessed value of, $800,000, and one has an assessed value of $32. And so you want to leave that stuff out. All those people are going to do with the high-end properties call back, and you're just going to make a bad name for yourself. You really want to do this right. And it all starts with data. I see people using other data products, not specifically where there's a problem like I just described, but other problems. Mm-hmm. Believe me, man, I've tried this every single different way. I've done it all wrong, tons of different ways, and this is the right way to do it.
Well, and like I was just sharing the other day with somebody, the whole point of this is we did not set out on this path.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing, too.
Right.
Data to Doorstep found us. We didn't find it.
Yeah, they were asking for it.
All our members were saying, okay, well, you guys obviously found the best data. We're like, yeah, we did, because we tried every last single kind out there. We know what is the best data. So we, as a group, I mean, we were steering people there and sharing it with them, and then we found a way that we can be licensed providers of the same data.
We negotiated a better deal for the group.
Exactly.
That's what happened. So now it's way cheaper.
For everybody.
Way cheaper to get it through us than if you go directly to these vendors.
Yep. by
way cheaper.
$75 a month, not even counting everything else. So won't even go into all that yet. But that's the whole thing. We didn't set out on this, So and we use it. This is what the pros use. Period. Don't mess around.
This is what people who buy skyscrapers, acquisition guys with PhDs in real estate. This is what they use. The same exact product. Exact. I feel like it's a little salesy now.
Like, don't you even want that in life? I'm like thinking, okay, anything you want to buy, maybe it's even a car or anything. I mean, don't you want to know? Don't you want to have the inside track to what everybody else is looking at? Like, I want to know what, before this brand new car got to the lot, what is Ford really looking for as a sales price or something? I don't know. You really want the inside track, information. And that is what this is.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. If you want the inside track to property anywhere in the United States, any type of property information, that is what this is, period. I don't care if it's a hotel, whatever.
And it's not just, we're not like giving you half the data. It's the whole thing. So a lot of our members use this not for land at all. They say, does it work for this? Does it work for that? And we have multiple members buying apartment buildings this way. So yeah.
It is that good.
Yeah, it's what is the title of the show?
It's too good to be true.
It is too good to be true.
It sounds too good to be true. I guess that was my whole thing. I'm like, we need to talk about this because I'm talking to people all the time that just don't believe it. Like, get in and check it out.
What if we charge $20,000 a month? Then would everybody say, "Oh no, I get it then"?
You're right.
You get access to all the assessors' databases.
Sometimes I think that
like a Groupon.
It should be $400 a month.
Like when I look at Groupon. And the thing's rolling through the screen, and it's like there's a product that's $12,000, and you can buy it for $92. I'm like, okay, forget. I just keep going because I don't believe it. Maybe that's happening here.
I think it could be. We're not changing the prices, though.
No.
Okay, good. Good.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816. I'm sure Jill's going to inspire us today.
If something comes to you very easily, go with it. It's probably meant to be. For example, jack your motorcycle. I can think of so many examples. Every single one of us can think of an example that there's things that you're like, that was too easy. That was too easy. Yeah. It was meant to be. Go with it. People sometimes put up their own barricades and they stop themselves from doing things. Like, what the heck? Why would you do that? Oh, this can't be right. Yeah, no, go with it.
When I was young, I'm going to reiterate this point. When I was young, and I think it's healthy for young children to work hard and to learn that they don't want to work like that. So, but you got to be careful because sometimes then they start to think, well, anything worthwhile is just really, really hard work, and that's a kind of a Midwest value. So I'm not knocking it entirely. I'm just saying, before I met Jill, I'm like, well, it's got to be anything that's hard. Then that's worth it. And there's some stuff that just naturally comes to me. Math is really easy for me, so I just figured it was worthless for a really long time, honest to God. So I think you should pay attention to the other side. And I guess I'm talking to myself now a little bit more than anything else. Just pay attention. If you're good at some stuff, take it to the next level.
Beautiful.
Don't fight it,
Hey, Jack, there's a real inspirational side to you. I like that.
You know what it is? You brought it out of me. I hope you're bringing it out of other people too, because I was all work and no play.
You're just giving me this warm, fuzzy feeling inside right now, Jack.
Good. Good. Hey, join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
and inspiration, that's me,
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Good show, Jill. That needed to be said.
I'm so glad.
We talk about this all around the office all the time. We're constantly in a position where we have to explain ourselves about what's so great about this data. And I think that episode got a little bit salesy, but it wasn't. We're not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to explain it.
That's
it's awesome data, man, and it's super cheap mail.
It is, and I'm working on upping our I put the search criteria on our website. I'm working at making it, and I know you're working on a video for us too, so everybody can kind of see it. That's I think what everybody needs to see. Mm-hmm. It really needs to see it. So if you're interested, wait and watch here shortly. Jack's gonna have a great video. I'm on it, just like a minute or two.
We have a YouTube channel.
Is it Land Academy YouTube? Okay, good. You're gonna put it there?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And probably on the website for a while too. But there's a lot of informational videos on there about how to do mail merges and how to find property with GPS codes and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Anyway, good show.
Thank you.
I think we made our point. If we have any listeners left at all, we made our point.
Okay, well, how about this? I'm going to throw this out there. If you really want to talk to me about it, gosh, you kind of can. Go on our website and schedule a call with me. I'm happy to fill you in. So go just on landacademy.com, go to the Contact Us page, and there's like number 2 is schedule a call with Jill. People do it all the time to talk about all kinds of things. So if you really want to ask me some direct questions, so you're so funny. So yeah, I
can't get a word Jill ever, so I schedule calls.
That's what you do is pop up on my calendar through the website. That's how you're doing that. Love it. So anyway, do it. You'll pop up on my calendar. It's a free 15-minute call, and I will call you and I can fill you in. Thank you.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show. We are the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. Let's go buy some property.
If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480-467-0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
Landacademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.